This is a preview for Althingi, a card game coming to Kickstarter in November of 2020. Let's take a look at it. One thing, the theme of this game is kind of unique. It is based on the Althingi gathering in Iceland that happened, I think, starting in the early, around year 1000, I think maybe in the 900s, this started happening. And so it's a unique Viking game that's based on a historical event. So how does the game, or how do you win the game? You win the game by collecting the most influence. There's two ways to collect influence. Either you can bribe these Vikings and gain their influence at the end of the game, or you can defeat Vikings in duels. And when you defeat a Viking, you take the Viking away from them and you gain one influence per Viking you defeated. So for instance, if I had this at the end of my game, I had 2 defeated Vikings and these 3 Vikings, I would add this up. 5 plus 2 is 7, and that would be my influence at the end of the game. You would have to beat the other players in the game. Throughout the game, you'll go through this entire deck of Vikings. You'll also go through your own personal decks, potentially multiple times. What's in your deck? It is different weapons and items that you use to bribe these Vikings. So each player is going to draw 3 cards per round into their hand, and then a number of Vikings are going to come out into play in these areas, and then each player will have the opportunity to choose to bid for the Vikings secretly. So for instance, this person, there's also some symbols here. They prefer a longbow and I think a necklace. I don't have any of those in my hand, so I could choose to bid on them using these influence values of these items. And you must bid at least the minimum influence here total to be able to potentially win the person. So I could try my iron sphere, but I guess, this is the iron amulet that they're looking for. So I could give this to her, which would give me 1 influence plus 1 for the item that she liked. And I do that face down. It would go around with other people bidding their cards, and then after everyone's passed, you flip it over, and whoever's bid the most will take control of the person. The second phase, and you'll put your item in your discard pile. The second phase is where you will challenge other Vikings that people have. So for instance, I could challenge Ketel the rat. She has a strength of 3. Gaida has a strength of 3, and Ketel the rat has a strength of 1. Her preferred, and again, we still have to work with our existing hand of cards. So there's a unique thing where you have to decide if you're going to bid secretly on the Vikings or if you're going to use your weapons in combat to essentially steal other people's Vikings away or take away their points. So in this case, it would go back and forth where I could choose to play a face down item here. And in this case, with 2 weapons, you can only play up to 2 face down items. And my opponent may play this one and say I want to play a second one on her because I really don't want to lose this duel. Then once we both play either 0, 1, or 2, we flip up the items and add up the strength values. So in this case, it's 1 plus 2 plus 5. So that would be 8. And this is 4 plus 3 plus 1, 8. So I think in the case of a tie, the person that challenged the duel would win. If you outright won, maybe using the iron sphere, then obviously you would win. These would be discarded, and you would put the person face down for a point at the end of the game. Now these decks are fairly small, so you'll go through them in about 3 turns. So you'll be kind of recycling your deck throughout the game, and the items, are obviously, some are better for fighting duels, and some are better for acquiring the influence of people. So who's going to like this game? I think people that want a fairly interactive card game with this unique theme and like the hand-drawn artwork here, it's gonna appeal to. I think people that like Viking games that are not your typical, I'm going to go raid some stuff and pillage and maybe kill some mythical beasts. This is based on a historical event and has some unique interactive card play that I haven't seen in a lot of other games. One final thing is each player is going to have an asymmetric ability. So depending upon which quarter you are, you'll have a choice between the one side of the card or the other that gives you a slightly unique ability throughout the game, and that provides some replayability. So your replayability in this game is the fact the Vikings are going to come out in different orders. You may, since you have a deck of cards that is equal between all players, you're going to see different cards in different orders, and you're going to have a lot of interaction, which is going to provide a unique experience each game. So check out Althingi. It's on Kickstarter very soon, and see what you think. Thank you.